What if cars could fly or webs could shoot from your wrists that help you travel through a city by swinging between buildings? Or if Married with Children was made into a cartoon? They all sound too good to be true, right? But Fox actually did it. That's right, Fox turned the Bundy family into an animated pilot. But hold on. Married with Children fans, Fox took all of the hype and excitement about the pilot and quietly and subtly made it all disappear. What happened? What went wrong? What insurmountable issue came up that turned Fox's hope for churning out another goldmine into their complete silence? Something must have become quite clear for Fox, because their actions speak volumes to the point where we're asking, can you believe Fox buried the Married with Children cartoon? So come along with us as we look into the unique and surprising reasons this pilot got shelved. If you're too young to remember, let us catch you up. Married with Children wasn't your typical family sitcom. No cozy lessons about honesty, no feel-good resolutions, no tearful hugs. Instead, you got Al Bundy, an aging shoe salesman who loathed his job, his customers, and often his own family. Peg Bundy, his wife, was a bored housewife who hated cleaning, loved spending money, and avoided intimacy unless it benefited her. Their children? Bud, a teenage boy obsessed with losing his virginity, and Kelly, a blonde stereotype whose lack of intelligence was often a punchline. Together, they formed the most dysfunctional family in television history, and America ate it up. Premiering in 1987, Married with Children ran for 11 seasons. It was loud, brash, and unapologetically crude. But it was also deeply satirical. It held a mirror up to the American middle class and didn't flinch. It poked fun at toxic masculinity, consumerism, failed dreams, and the myth of the perfect family. Now let's go back to 1994, and in some dimly lit Fox studio office, a wild idea is born. What if we took Married with Children, the most politically incorrect sitcom on television, and made it a cartoon? Yes, that's right.
The Bundys have finally won. Son of a bitch!
An animated series with Al Bundy cracking sexist one-liners, Peg Bundy drifting through life on a cloud of sarcasm and shopping bags, Bud chasing women with cringe-worthy persistence, and Kelly, well, Kelly just being Kelly. Sounds like some great chaos, and it almost happened. This isn't just a rumor or a fever dream of Bundy's superfans. Fox was considering turning Married with Children into an animated series as they had all of their ducks in a row. They had the cast, the storyboards, and a studio lined up. But just when it looked like it might hit the airwaves, the whole project was scrapped, silently and suddenly without explanation, until now. So, what went down behind the scenes? Why did one of Fox's boldest ideas die before it even had a chance to offend anyone? And in a world obsessed with edgy adult animation, could this show have thrived? Or was it doomed from the start? The actual show itself drew criticism. Feminist groups protested its portrayal of women. Conservative watchdogs called it anti-family. And yet, Married with Children flourished in controversy. It made Fox a player in the network game. So when The Simpsons exploded into primetime glory in 1989, Fox had a thought. Why not strike again with animation? Why not bring back our OG chaotic family in cartoon form? The Simpsons had proven that animation didn't have to be sweet, cuddly, or Saturday morning fodder. It could be primetime gold, adult, witty, and subversive. Executives at Fox wanted more. They craved a follow-up hit. Something familiar, but fresh. Something with an already built-in audience. Married with Children checked every box. It had name recognition. It had controversy. It had 4 instantly recognizable characters with clear personalities. And, let's be honest, it had a brand of humor that was so cartoonish in live action, the leap to animation seemed weirdly logical. And the best part? The cast was on board. Ed O'Neill, Katie Siegel, David Faustino, and Christina Applegate all agreed to voice their animated counterparts. Fox greenlit a pilot, hired an experienced animation studio, and began the process of transforming TV's most toxic family into a cartoon. They had storyboards, they had scripts, They even had recordings. So what happened? In live action, Al Bundy's misanthropic rants were viewed by many as satire. He was a loser railing against the world, and viewers laughed at him as much as they laughed with him. But animation changes the equation. In animation, exaggeration is the rule. Everything's louder, weirder, and more surreal. A sexist joke in a live-action show might feel cringy. In a cartoon, it can feel aggressively amplified, almost grotesque, and Fox executives saw that firsthand. When the pilot was screened for internal review, the reaction was uncomfortable. Yes, the jokes landed. Yes, the voices were spot on. But something felt off. The satire didn't translate cleanly into animation. What once felt edgy now felt potentially toxic. Al Bundy's bitterness, Peg's manipulations, Bud's obsession with girls, it all read less like satire and more like unfiltered toxicity in bright colors, and this made Fox nervous and scared. This wasn't just a show that might get a few angry letters. This was a show that could spark serious backlash, even in the less socially aware 90s. So what did Fox do? Well, they shelved it. Quietly. No press release, no explanation. Just a collective decision to let the Bundys stay where they belonged. Chaotic, crude, and live action. In the 90s, a show like The Simpsons could joke about dysfunctional families, but it did so with heart. Even Homer, in all his bumbling, loved his kids. Even Bart had moments of reflection. But Married with Children offered no such counterbalance. Al Bundy hated his life. He resented his wife. He insulted his children. And while the show's defenders argue that this was all part of the satire, critics pointed out that the punchlines often punched down at women, at working-class people, at anyone who didn't fit a narrow, heteronormative mold. And while live action could soften that with performances and nuance, animation offered no such grace. Every joke felt more pointed, every insult louder, every flaw more grotesque. Could it have worked in 2025? Maybe. Adult animation today is bolder, edgier, and more inclusive, but also the cultural scrutiny is stronger. Twitter threads, YouTube breakdowns, TikTok callouts, it's all instant. One wrong move and you're not just canceled, you're dissected in real time. And Married with Children would have had a lot of wrong moves, as Fox's reaction to their own pilot confirms. But here's the twist. The idea isn't dead. In fact, in 2025, Married with Children, the animated series is back on the table, as Sony Pictures Television is developing a reboot. Alex Carter, a writer and producer from Family Guy, is on board. The original cast is also set to return. And the voices of Al, Peg, Bud, and Kelly might be coming back, older, wiser, but still with that chaotic spark. This time, the Bundys have relocated to Dumpwater, Florida, a fictional town full of HOA nightmares, snobby neighbors, and new opportunities for dysfunction. Peg's still shopping, Al's still grumbling, Bud's still hopelessly horny, and Kelly? Still not solving equations anytime soon, but there's a catch. Christina Applegate, who played Kelly, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and stepped away from on-camera roles in 2023. However, she's open to voiceover work. That gives fans hope that this reboot could be something special, and maybe, just maybe, more thoughtful than before. It's being pitched to networks like Fox, Hulu, and Peacock. But development has been rocky. There's buzz, yes, but there's also hesitation. Is the world ready to re-embrace the Bundys? Or has the culture moved too far? There's something deeply nostalgic about Married with Children. It reminds us of a time when TV wasn't trying to be perfect, when families could be messy, when sitcoms weren't sugar-coated. But nostalgia is tricky. What was funny in 1989 might be problematic in 2025. What made us laugh back then might make us wince now. The jokes haven't changed, but we have. We've had national conversations about sexism, toxic masculinity, and mental health. We've reevaluated how media affects us. We've learned that satire needs to be clear. Who is the butt of the joke? What's the takeaway? All of that and more are part of the challenges of reviving the Bundys. Can the show walk the line between parody and offense? Can it evolve while staying true to its roots? We're about to find out. The animated Married with Children is a what-if story that refuses to die. It was a bold idea, one that could have changed the landscape of adult animation. But maybe, just maybe, the world wasn't ready. Or maybe the show itself wasn't ready to evolve. Today, the unaired pilot is a collector's item, a streaming curiosity, a piece of lost media legend. You can find it on Hulu, Pluto TV, and other platforms, buried among nostalgia-driven reruns. But the bigger question remains. Would it have worked? Was this cartoon a lost gem or a disaster narrowly avoided? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Would you watch a new Married with Children cartoon in 2025? Or is it better left in the chaotic past where it belongs?